Okay, I am also recording this meeting, okay? I will share the video with you after the webinar. And I think we can start. First thing first, right? So welcome you all. It's a pleasure to have you here with us today. My name is Wendy. I'm a product marketing and community manager here at Albato, and I will be guiding you through this webinar today. Can you hear me well? Yeah, great. Then.
Yeah, I can hear you just fine, Wendy.
Perfect. Thank you, Leo. So in behalf of the team, I would like to say that we are really happy that you took 1 hour of your day to learn more about our no-code app integrator. I'm not sure if everyone already familiar, but our apps integrator, it's a unique module that empowers you to develop integrations for public or private use without need to write a single line of code. And we know that this might require a bit more knowledge about the APIs. So that's why we are here. Our goal today is to provide you with all the details you need to guide you through building a custom integration. And today we have here 3 great professionals who will help us to dive into the world of integrations. First, Leonid, our managing partner, Alex, our integration expert, and Enzo, our integration engineer. And what will be our agenda for today? First, Leo will give an overview of Albato, explaining who we are, our main modules, and some important resources provided to our users. And he will also show you briefly how our platform works. Then, Enzo will make an introduction to App Integrator, presenting the main sections and usage. And next, perhaps the most anticipated moment, Alex will build a live integration for you to see how the integrator works in practice. After this, we'll have a Q&A section. So throughout the webinar, if you have any question, you can send them here at the chat, and we will do our best to answer all of them at the end. Okay? Actually, it doesn't stop there. Before closing, we'll also announcing 2 new webinars in Albato in firsthand, so it's an exclusivity. Then stay until the end and you can see all that's coming. Okay, so can we start, I guess, Leo? It's up to you. I will share the host with you.
Yeah, I'm ready. Thanks a lot, Wendy, for such a warm intro. Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm Leo, managing partner at Albato. And please give me a sign if you can hear me well and if you can see me okay. Wonderful.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's really breathtaking to see a lot of people joining us today, and especially, thank you everyone who turned on their cameras. Yeah, because it really, gives that feeling of presence that we can feel you through the screen, and it's great. Yeah, hopefully you won't be disappointed with what you're going to see. So yeah, I'll just tell you a few words about who we are. Let me see. Sorry, let me know when you see my screen.
It's already here.
Yeah, just a couple of, kind of high-level slides. So we are Albato. We're a no-code integration and automation platform, or you might hear, this kind of acronym IPaaS, which become like super popular in the last few years. So yeah, we've been around for almost 5 years, and currently we're a team of 6+ people spread across the globe. So we have presence in several continents. And although we're almost a fully remote team, we have a small HQ in Lisbon. So I'm based in Lisbon. Well, technically in Lisbon suburbs, like half an hour drive in a city called Cascais. As I said, we are 60+ people. And just to give you, an idea of our scale, as of today, we have 60,000+ clients on the platform. Yeah, to be honest, kind of more of them are not paid customers, so they're either trial or like a free plan, but still it's a great scale. So we have a lot of people, tens of thousands of people using Albato to automate their daily mundane routine, so to speak. And currently we have almost, I think now it's actually more because I haven't updated the slide. It's more than 30,000 automation scenarios running, simultaneously. We have 600+ out-of-the-box apps available instantly. And we add a lot of new apps. So if you're subscribed to our digest, you can see that we've been adding a lot of new applications. And also we constantly upgrade and we enhance the functionality of existing integrations. So we've been working, both towards increasing the breadth and depth of our integrations. Because breadth and depth, they both are equally important when you use Albato to integrate your apps. So, and also, I'll give you like a quick overview of our platform. So let me just flip to Albato. This is our website, and what you can see here is our app library. And as I said, here we have 600+ applications available out of the box. So let's say if I want to integrate HubSpot with platform XYZ, so I can use it from day one. And and also I want to tell you that every integration, or we call them connectors, they come with a certain pre-built functionality. So let's say for HubSpot, you have a selection of triggers. So this is something that you can use to pull data from HubSpot. So whenever something happens in HubSpot, like a new contact added or a new ticket created or a deal updated, so you can use this event to action this data on another application, and that's what we call an action. But I'm pretty sure that you are familiar, with the definition of triggers and actions. So that should be pretty self-explanatory. So if let's say you want to use a application XYZ, and let's say you don't see the either an application in our library, or the application is there, but you don't see a specific trigger or action, you can always reach out to us, and you can basically, if you have an account in Albato, so you can go to our public roadmap. It's right here, below the help section, and here you can create a new request, or you can upload the existing one. So you can use search to search for and see if the ticket is there for some feature that you're looking for. So feel free to do that. We constantly review our roadmap, and we're moving quite fast. So we'll be happy to deliver you what you're looking for if you tell us about it. So then what else? I'm gonna dive to the automation section. Just a quick overview. So basically, you can see that that's the space where you will live from your day-to-day management perspective. So here you can build automations, basically doing some drag and dropping and just plug and play connectors. So I use Albato a lot for automating some of my daily tasks. So I'll just show you a couple of simple automations that I built, although I'm very far from being a technical person. So I'm very ignorant on some tech stuff, but I find it really, really simple. So let's say I use this software Ample Market for some sales and outreach automation. And so what I do here is I get, whenever, let's say, a prospect from my sequence replies to me, so what I do is I get this new reply, then I send it to OpenAI to kind of enrich it and transform it. And then I send a message to a channel in Slack. So I'm going to show you that's what I get. So every time I get a new reply from prospect, I get a message that looks like this, and it's pretty convenient because I really, have the full visibility of what's happening in my outreach. Yeah, and it's like it's really, it's really great. And another one that I'm going to show you is I connected the Slack channel that I used to communicate with my customer with HubSpot. Yeah, and every time I get a new message in that channel, I create a new node in HubSpot and I associate it with a deal. Yeah, so in the end, it looks like this. So every time I get a response in Slack, yeah, I just push it immediately to a corresponding deal in HubSpot. Yeah, and you can do a lot of things like that. It's really, like mostly like playing Lego. It's pretty easy. And for every automation, you get a detailed automation log. So basically, you can see, what's been going on in this automation. And so what kind of data you captured, all the fields, and let's say sometimes, kind of automation can, something can go wrong. You can get an error. So again, in your automation log, you will see the full history and you'll be able to troubleshoot it pretty quickly or reach out to our support asking for help. Yeah, another great feature that we rolled out pretty recently is solutions. Yeah, I don't know if you've heard about it or not. So essentially, a solution is like a one-click template. So basically, you can create an automation scenario, yeah, and then you can create a template on top of it. And then you can use it either for yourself, or you can create what we call a share link. So you can share it, I don't know, across your customer base or with your friends, so that they wouldn't have to create it from scratch. Yeah, they would just get your share link and they would unpack it and they'd be able to use it right away. Yeah, so let's say, and you have the staff solutions, and here you have a marketplace of solutions that are ready to use. And here I search for OpenAI, and I can see all solutions that have OpenAI connector as a part of the automation. So let's say this is the solution that we pre-built for our customers. And these are 9 most popular use cases with AI. So I can just click install. And here I have a whole bunch of different AI use cases. So I can just use the toggle switches to enable, disable. Yeah, and then I go continue. And I can authenticate by connecting my accounts for each app. Yeah, and it's good to go. So essentially, I didn't have to build anything. I didn't have to do mappings. So it was pre-built for me. Yeah, which is pretty cool. That's pretty convenient. What else? So not long ago, we launched our Albato Academy. And you can access it from the help section. And here you can take a few online courses. It's free. So you can go for Albato Basics. And also, and that's related a lot to what we're going to be talking today. We're going to be talking about building integrations, connecting some custom APIs using our App Integrator. Yeah, and kind of to make your life easier with our App Integrator. Just maybe a week ago, we launched a course for the App Integrator. Yeah, so it has 6 lessons already. The other ones are coming soon. I think they will be there by, Wendy, correct me if I'm wrong, by mid-July or something like that, more or less.
I hope, yeah.
Yeah, because we got a lot of feedback this year and last year when we were campaigning on AppSumo, that a lot of people, tried to build their own integrations using our App Integrator, but they run into some walls and they get lost a little bit. So, and we really felt the need to educate people more, and that's why we rolled out this course. What else? We have our blog. So let's say if you want to set up an automation and you do it for the first time, you can go to the user guide section. Let's say if I were to set up an integration with OpenAI, I have this article, giving me like, tips on how to do it. So yeah, we constantly update our blog. So whenever we add a new application, we add the article and we add a user guide on our blog. And also, yeah, please join our community if you're not there yet. So it's on Facebook, and also you can access it from the resources section. And yeah, last but not least, before I hand off to the next speaker, I wanted to give you, a sneak peek at our embedded solution. So let's say if you're a SaaS company and you're looking to, to improve and to enhance integrations within your SaaS product. So you can have a fully white label and embedded version of Albato within your product. So I'm going to show you this prototype. Yeah, so let's say this is your product and you don't want to, you want to waste your dev resource, or you don't have the bandwidth to, to build and manage integrations in-house. So you can go for a kind of an out-of-the-box marketplace that you can connect pretty quickly in just a couple of weeks. And you will have something like this within your product. So it will be you will have out-of-the-box integrations for your SaaS and, let's say, Shopify, Slack, or any other applications that are listed in our library. And you can make it available for your customers. So for your customers, it will be something like that. So each integration, yeah, would be just, one-click template. And yeah, it would be like a super frictionless experience for your customers. For those of you who are thinking about buying our LTD or already did that, so yeah, I just need to tell you that the embedded solution is not a part of our LTD, as it's a very complex and custom project. Yeah, that involves a lot of development and a lot of, we need to tailor that to your SaaS application. So yeah, it's not keep in mind that it's not a part of our LTD. If you're interested in knowing more about embedded, you can just go to our website here and you can schedule a demo like this, and I will be happy to, to show you all the capabilities and do like a full walkthrough of our platform. Yeah, and Wendy, please help me. Is this it, or did I miss anything?
Oh, that's perfect. Now I think we can move on with Enzo, right?
Yeah, wonderful. Yeah, so if you have any questions, you can actually drop them in the chat. So we'll be happy to answer. And yeah, I'm gonna hand off to Enzo, our integration engineer.
Hi.
So yeah, and now we're moving closer to the topic that, of course, we want to, to take a deeper dive in, how to build custom integrations without coding, yeah, and how to use Albato's App Integrator to build almost any custom API with a few clicks. Please, Enzo, enlighten us, man.
Okay, Lou, can you give the roast to share the screen, please?
Yeah, sure.
No.
Yeah, you're the host.
I think okay, I will share screen and just a moment. Okay, sharing. Can you see the screen?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay,
Yeah.
I will introduce you to the App Integrator. The App Integrator is our no-code tool that you can use to integrate your service for either private or public use, and then create automations. We have our integrator team here that build our integrations, but anyone with zero experience in API can use it to develop your self-integrations. So it has a user-friendly interface with API sections and offers a lot of features to simplify the integration process. So using the App Integrator, you can develop integrations that would take a month in only a few hours. Okay, so now I will throw in the sections. So the first section is the authorization. Here you can set up the authorization, follow your API documentation. So we have the OAuth 2, the basic, the API token, and the session auth. So you can follow it using your API documentation, or you can create your custom authorization. Now going to the connections fields. Connections fields are variables responsible to store the end user data. So when you have an integration and you want to get some user of the end user to using an action or in a trigger, you can create a connection field. Now going to the trigger. Okay, so trigger are events in automation. So if you want to create an event in automation, you can create a trigger. We have two types of trigger. We have the webhook and the API request. It will depend of your API. Now going to the webhook response. We use the webhook response to provide a custom payload response to your webhook. So if your API needs a webhook that have a different response, a dynamic response, you can use this section. Now going to the action. The action are the events that will happen after a trigger. So if you want to create an action, you can get in this section and make your request here and set up. Now going to the webhook catcher. We usually use the webhook catcher to receive fields where payload has no static fields. So if your webhook is dynamic and you don't know the fields and the parameters, you can use this section and set up it. Now going to the list. We usually use the list to set up when we have a specific ID or parameter in a field, in an action. So if your action has an ID and you want to do a get in the API, you can use this and create a dynamic list, or even the static to simplify this list. Now going to the custom field. Usually we have some applications like e-commerce or applications like that that has custom field. And we need to create custom fields here. You can add a list and create your custom fields to this application. Now going to the state handler. It's an important field on the integration. It will handle your errors. So if you want to show an error in automation, you can go in this tab and set up your error, and it will show in the error handling. Now going to the publication. The publication is where you can send your app to the moderation, and it will be turned publishing. After you fill this form, our moderation will analyze your app, and if everything's okay, the app will become public. Now going to the webhook subscription. Some APIs has an endpoint where you can subscribe your webhook, so you can use this section and subscribe your webhook. Now going to the multi-step connection. This section we use it when your request depends on a previous field, so you can get this previous step and create a multi-step connection. Now going to about the partner. Here you can fill with some information about what are you developing, like the category, the description, and the link to the partner and the logo. Now we have a pagination. Pagination, some APIs has pagination, like in Get APIs, and you can just create this and set up it, and then you can link it to an action or even a trigger. Now going to the application variables. Here is about variables. You can create a global variable, and this variable can be used in all the app, in all sections after you create here. You can check the documentation to get more details about each sections. We have the documentation, so you can deep in this documentation and get more information. And I think about the introduction, that's it. Now Alex will show us how to integrate an application from zero. Okay, Alex, I will pass the rules for you just a moment.
Thanks a lot for the overview, Enzo. And I see that we're getting some questions in the chat. By the way, Alex, before we start, maybe we can answer a quick one. So yeah, Marcelo is asking, so can we use App Integrator to expand the existing integration? So let's say we have an integration XYZ, I don't know, Slack, yeah, on our library. And can people use App Integrator to work with one of our public integrations and add some features or some actions and so on and so forth? I don't think so.
I don't think so as well, because if we have already a version, published version of an application, we cannot like create a copy and transfer it to someone's else account to continue working on it, extending it. I guess it's not possible.
Yeah.
We can transfer a single app between the accounts, but we cannot copy the apps.
Yeah, thanks, Alex.
So I can move on with the App Integrator.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Tell me, please, the first thing, do you hear me okay? Is everything okay with the connection?
Yeah.
Great.
I can hear you just fine.
Okay. A few seconds of preparation. Let me close the chat and share my screen. Panels. Do you see my screen? Is everything okay with the quality of the picture?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Nice.
Very high quality of the picture.
Nice. So now you already know some things about the App Integrator, and now we're gonna add a simple app created from scratch, and we'll try to create an automation using this app. This is the initial page of our App Integrator, and let's start. Let's create an app. Before we start, today we're gonna use two apps. In our case, the first one that we're gonna create, it's an VoIP application. It's a Brazilian service that allows to send messages and interact in a WhatsApp and so on. We'll try to create an app that allows us to send messages, and we'll try to connect it to Pipedrive application. And the case is when a person is created in Pipedrive, a message using the phone number of this person will be sent via the VoIP service to a person's cell phone. Maybe it's not that useful case, but it may be used, for example, if a client created here, it may be like a greeting, a SMS with the greetings like, hello, welcome to our service. Or it may be, in case of sale, like a message with the status of an order or something like that. So anyway, let's start and add our first app. Let's name it. We can name it as we want. Let's name it like test app today and save it. Yeah, here are the sections, and Enzo already told about them. And the first step in creating every application is setting up the authorization. Let's add a new one. We already have several templates for the most popular cases, and today we're going to use a custom. It's a template without any presets. It's like a blank page, so it's more flexible, and we can create anything with this option. Let's name it like it doesn't matter. Usually we name it according to the model of authorization, like via token, via API token, via API key, or auth authorization or something like that. But today let's name it simple, like my auth, and save it. It's created, and we have 4 steps to set up our authorization. The first one is just about the name, so we move on to the next step. And on the second step, we can create a fields, and these fields allows us to pass parameters and values to the application to get authorized. Here we have the invoice documentation and the send SMS method. This service allows us to allows us to 2 options of authorization, like auth or API key. They call it NAPI key. So the second one is easier, and let's use it. Here is the description, how it should be set up. Maybe it's not that obvious sometimes in documentation, but here they mean that this API key, NAPI key, should be sent as a get parameter, and it should be a part of the URL and added to each request we send to this application. So let's create a field that's called NAPI key. We add a new field. The first one, field code, it's just our internal code for Albato used to address to this field. It won't be used externally. It won't be sent to third-party applications. It won't be used as a mapping. So it's just an internal code. You can name it as you want, but we name it according to the documentation, but it doesn't matter. Name in English. That's how this field, the label of the field will be shown to the users. Hint in English, if you want to provide some tips or hints for the user, we can add it, but we don't need it. Type of the field. In case if the field is about sensitive data, like passwords, API tokens, or something like that, we use password type. It's the same as a string, but you'll have your chars hidden, like dots, and no one will see it. So, and we have to enable 2 checkboxes. Editable field, it means that user is allowed to put data to this field, and required field, it means that a user won't be able to create a connection without this field being filled. So we save it, and we move on to the next step. The third step designed for the applications that need that provide token via the request. For example, in case of auth 2.0 authorization, when we send some data like client secret, client ID, redirect URI, and so on. So we send a request, we receive a token as a response, like a access token and a refresh token. And in case if application has a function of refreshing, updating token, we just use its checkbox and set up another request to refresh the token. But in case of invoice, we don't need this step, we skip it. So we move on to the next step. The fourth step allows us to set how this parameter will be sent to the application. So we can send this parameter in a body. This step, we can send it as a header parameter, or we can send it as a get parameter. And that's what we need in case of invoice. So we just copy this parameter, and we choose the authorization field we have just created on the second step. It means that each request we're gonna send in each action will contain this part in the URL. So generally the authorization is set up and we can save it. Yeah, saved. Okay, so sending a message, obviously it's an action. So our next step is to create and set up an action. We go to the Actions tab section and add a new action. Name in English, let's name it like send SMS. We don't need these functions today. It's for more complicated cases. So we've created an action and let's set it up. The first tab, fields. It's about the fields that we're gonna send, that we're gonna use. Let's go to the documentation and we see that there are 3 fields that are used to send the SMS: the phone number, number phone, message, and flash SMS. So let's try to create these fields one by one. We add a field. Field code is once again is the same, our internal code, name in English. It's a phone number. Hint, I guess we don't need hint. Here, list, we can attach a list, but in this case, we don't need lists as well. Type, we can check in the documentation. We see that it's a string type of variable. So we leave it like a string and we put it like editable and required, because obviously we won't be able to send a message without a number. So it's a required field. Let's add next one. Next one is message. Field code message, name in English. Like that. It's string as well, it's editable as well, and it's a required field. And let's add the last one. It's a flash SMS field. It's an option that allows to convert message to a push notification. So in case if we need it, we can enable this function. Flash SMS. Let's make it beautiful. And in the documentation, we see that one of the possible options is false. So it tells us that it's a Boolean type of variable. And let's put it like required field, because sometimes it's not that obvious if a field is required or not required, which fields should be sent as optional. So just in case, we'll mark it as required. So we have all the fields created and we go to the next tab, requests. Here we set up the request itself. The first field we have to fill is the request URL. And we go to the documentation once again, and here is the URL we're gonna use. So we just copy and paste it. The second thing we check is the request method. It's post. So we already have it like post. Content type, application JSON. So we leave it like that, JSON. And here we choose the authorization we just created in the beginning. So mainly it's set, and now we have to map the field. We have a function that makes it almost totally automatically. So this button, import entity fields, let's try it. And the fields that we've created are already mapped. So it means that the value from the field will be sent with this parameter. So let's save it. Generally, it's enough to use this app as a private version, and we can already try it. Of course, in case of if you want to publish your application, you'll have to set up status handling. You'll have to fill about the partner tab, and then send to moderation. But today, in this case, the things we've already done are enough to try it. So our next step, we go to apps section, where we create connections for our applications. So let's set the first connection. Yep, and find the app we've just created. Test app. Yep, here it is already in the list. We add a connection. The name of connection, as usual, you can name it as you want. Let's name it like Alex test and NEPI key. I already have an account in VoIP, and I think it's here in this section, API. Come on, in VoIP. Seems like something went wrong with the in VoIP. 1 second, let's try the VPN, maybe it will help. Unfortunately, it doesn't depend on us, the stability of the service. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Enzo, could you help me, please? Could you try to log in the VoIP?
Yeah. Just a moment. I'm getting. Could you please give me the credentials?
Ah,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah, it works. Yeah, of course, it should. It had to happen at this moment. So here is the NEPI key. It's our private key we're going to use in our automations and integrations. So we just copy it and paste here. We click continue. And the connection is created. Another application we're going to connect to in VoIP is Pipedrive. So let's another connection and search for Pipedrive here. Here it is. We add the connection. And they ask us for the API key. I already have this tab opened. Here is our personal API token. We just copy it and paste it here and click continue. The connection is created. Okay, so we have 2 connections created, and now we can create an automation using these connections. We go to automations section and create a new one. Here's our automation builder. The first step is a trigger. So our trigger is a contact created in Pipedrive. So when the contact is created in Pipedrive, it initiates the bundle and sends the data. So let's find Pipedrive. Yep. Event, new contact. Pipedrive account, it's a connection we've just created, and we added a trigger. And an action. Our action is to send a message using the InVoIP app. So we add an action. We look for our test app we've just created, choose it, action, send SMS, and account. Yep, it's a connection we've just created as well. We add an action, and we have to fill these fields, but let's just put in something to be able to create this step. We just won't be allowed to save this step without filling the required fields. But before we do it and set it up, finally, we have to add another step, because according to Pipedrive's documentation, phone number, it's the structure of the contact entity. And Pipedrive allows a contact to have several phones. So they have it not like a common parameter, it's an array. So there may be like primary or secondary, mobile, home, and so on. But we need only single phone. And in this case, we have a tool that will allow us to pick a single value from an array. It's the iterator. Let's add this tool. Row, we're gonna process the array of the phones. So we choose the phone and save it. And now we can set up correctly the third step, sending SMS, phone number. We're gonna pick it from the iterator, from our tool. So it's a value. It's the result of the tool. Message. Let's imagine that it's like a hello message from the company. So let's do it like hello. Can use search name, hello first name, space, last name. And just it's a kind of to prove that the message we're gonna send and we're gonna show you is not prepared. I'll just close my eyes and add something randomly on the keyboard, something like that. Now it's set up correctly and we can save it. So the bundle is ready. Let's try to launch it. Automation has been successfully started, and we go to the Pipedrive to create a contact. They call it person, so let's try to create one. All the side apps refuse to work correctly today. Let's try to refresh it. Yeah, let's try to add a person. We're going to use answers phone. So Enzo. And let me 1 second copy the phone number. Phone. And save it. Yeah, a contact is created in Pipedrive. Let's go to our bundle and check our automation log. Yeah, here it is. It worked. So the data that was sent from Pipedrive with many parameters. And the third step, yeah, this is the message that was sent to Enzo. And now I'm going to pass the host back to Enzo for him to show us if he really received a message. 1 second, please.
Showtime.
So that's it. Enzo, you're the host now.
For this amazing demo. And now the drum roll. So Enzo will show his phone screen, just so everyone can see if yeah, the message is there or not.
And you know, the only service that worked okay today is Albato, not Pipedrive, not in VoIP.
I'm sure. So here is my cell phone. And here is the message.
So that means it works.
Yeah.
It works. And it even has my random text in the end.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot. Thanks so much, guys, for this amazing demo. Yeah, I know it's a kind of all the prep work and all the effort that we had to put to, you know, to make this work live in front of everyone. Yeah, it's behind the scenes, but we had to put some effort, you know, to make it work. Because usually when you add a new application in the App Integrator, you run into, well, yeah, we can see that, you know, just by looking at the questions that people have been sending to the chat, we can see that it's not that easy, and sometimes you have to, you know, to do a deeper dive and to try to go through trials and errors, you know, to get yeah, to be successful with this. Yeah, so thanks a lot, guys, for this amazing demo. And I think that we can jump to the questions.
Yeah, I agree. Just remembering, we are recording this video and I will share it in our Facebook community. We are trying to answer all the questions, but if your question is not answered here, or if you have other doubts, feel free to share this, to send this in our Facebook group. Okay. Let me check the questions now. Some feedbacks about our UI and the steps, the sections of the App Integrator. Actually, this more than one person mentioned this. Actually, we use the sections to build all the apps that are currently in our library. So the integration process is different depending of the app. So that's why we have so many sections, because some apps demands some setups and others don't. That's depend of the API and the use case you want to build. But your feedback is very important for us, and we're pretty sure we'll try to make this more clear for your building your own integrations. Then Marcelo.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, when it just, yeah, a quick comment that, you know, I saw a lot of people saying something like that, hey, add more tips to make, you know, the whole experience smoother and more intuitive, because obviously Alex is a very technical person, so he knows kind of which fields and I don't know which functions are needed to build an app XYZ and which are not needed. So yeah, and let's say the person who tries, you know, to build something in the App Integrator for the first time, yeah, that might not be the case. So probably, yeah, kind of more. We should think about like maybe some onboarding that we could add in the App Integrator. Yeah, just giving people more tips and more suggestions. You know, kind of on the fly what they need to do for this or that app. So it's definitely something that that we're taking into account, and we will look into this.
Yeah,
Leonid, if I could, that was my post about the UI, and I think a wizard would be really awesome. The first question that comes to my mind is this an inbound integration or an outbound integration? Like the one that you gave as the example, I would call kind of, well, I don't know, it has both actually, but I think if you're doing an inbound, then maybe you have a webhook catcher. But if you're doing an outbound, you don't have a webhook catcher. You have other things, and you don't need 15 buttons on the screen. You need the 5 that apply to you. So, and then even within the subscreens, the fact that Alex knows, you know, that he doesn't need those 2 optional fields is kind of an interesting thing, that they could be hidden under an accordion or something at first, and then there would be a question. There should be a question step. Do you blah blah blah? You know, and that would be like the tip that you talked about. So I'll just leave that for now. But I'd be super happy to be a tester for any of that functionality, of course.
Thanks a lot for this priceless feedback. Yeah, actually, you know, historically, App Integrator was built as our internal tool to populate our app library. And kind of, you know, it was used mainly by our integration engineers, again, as our internal, you know, technology to get things done. But now, as we started, you know, to put that in front of the market, I totally agree with you that we need, you know, to tailor the kind of the user experience within the App Integrator, you know, just to make it more accessible and more understandable for everyone. So yeah, that makes total sense. Thank you for this.
so let's move on. Marcelo, we already answered. Joshua told us that he's a very new user and hope that we can help him. He wants to understand how to add an app which is accessed by username and password. Enzo, can you help me?
Sure. Usually you can use the basic authorization for this one, but it will depend of your API. So you need to check on the documentation of your API. And if the template was not set up for it, you can just create a custom template following your API documentation.
Perfect. I also saw that Lily's trying to integrate an app and she already found some help here. That's great. If you need some extra help, specifically topics, you can count on our support too. Then again, Daniel, if you're building an integration to a data source consisting mostly of custom fields, for example, Cloud Firestorm database, can the integrator be configured to dynamically generate a list of tables and custom fields in the data source upon connection, or will the list of tables and custom fields need to be hard-coded? It's the question number 6 in our chat. Maybe Alex can help us. He also mentioned that
Well,
hard coding
1 second.
make many times.
If custom fields, can it make the name generate the
Yeah,
I guess the answer is that it's possible. We can configure. No, sorry. The integrator can be configured the way to dynamically generate the list of tables and custom fields, and we won't need to hard code anything. But as always, as we always say, the final answer, the final decision, it mostly depends on the documentation and particular case. So we need to we need more details, but from afar it looks like it's possible without any hard coding.
Okay. Next one, number 7. I'm looking to get a value from Google Sheets in my workflow. So without using trigger, as triggers should come from another webhook. We tried to answer you at the chat, and you also received some help of another user. Hopefully this could help you. Then Sandra, number 8, can I use Albato to get newly published products data on a website by a product certification company and then send that data to a database from a SaaS platform for green building products? Yeah, if this apps has an open API, you can create as integrations, or you can even use the webhook depending of your use case. Right, guys? Alex and Enzo?
1 second.
Yeah, correct.
Okay.
Yes.
And that there's another question mentioned that Alex skipped 3 buttons in the App Integrator. That's exactly what we mentioned. Not all the apps demands all those setups, and we can try to think about how to make it clear with some tips or a new onboarding of our platform. Next question. What if the fields I want to map are within another entity? Ansel told me you can use list and custom fields to list and map these fields. Enzo, can you please explain it?
Yeah, and the builder has a section called custom field. We usually use this section to map this field that comes from another endpoint. So you can use this tab to solve your problem.
Yeah, Wendy, I think we're running out of time, so let's take a couple of more questions. Yeah, and wrap up. And also we have, Bharat is raising his hand, so I think we can also, take your question, Bharat.
Yeah, I've got to, I'll run them through really quickly. Sorry, I've forgotten what I wrote there. Where's it gone? Yeah, I have an LTD, which I haven't used it as an investment. I use other automation, no disrespect to Albato, but I use other automation software. All their user interfaces are different. They all do the work, but user interfaces are different, and Albato is different. There's a lot to remember in all these little steps, even for something simple like this, sending a text message. If we run through developing our own custom app, is support there to help us through that process if we can't find what to do from the documentation? Can we use support to help us through the process?
Yeah, absolutely, you can.
Okay,
Sure.
right, fine. Because I haven't used it yet, so it was an investment. So okay. The other question is, again, there's so many little nuances and steps. It's not wrong or right. It's just different to what I'm used to. With existing apps, so let's say it was these 2 apps, I wanted to do something different, or if I had one input app that you've used in this case and a second output app, can I see a breakdown of an existing app that you've created to use that as a guide to create my own? Like, you know, the steps that Alex went through at the moment with this example. If you have an existing app, can you see how it's been built? So we can use that as a guide to, because sometimes, yeah, I'm good at reverse engineering. I like to, like get under the hood of the car and, okay, I can see how that works. So I can now customize that for my own needs. So is that possible with existing apps that you've created?
Yeah, thanks for the question, a great one. So yeah, sure. The reverse engineering is a great way to, to understand how things work. But I don't think that we allow that. Alex, can you help me on this one? So is there a way that people could see like the breakdown of our current applications that are listed in our library? I mean, would they be able to see how those applications are built in the App Integrator?
It's like having a read-only version of what you created.
No, I don't think so.
Okay, all right. Okay, so it's for me, being the
Yeah.
sort of engineer I am, it would help me, but if it's not there, then fine. As long as support's there to help, then that's great. Okay, that's me done. Thank you.
So
Yeah, but as I said in the beginning, we will carry on working on improving and expanding our documentation and our online course for the App Integrator. So, and yeah, there we will try to actually, to cover, as many topics and as many questions as possible.
Yeah. But I said that I don't think there's anything wrong. It's because it's so all the automation softwares are so different. Even if you do this, even if you create the same automation in Albato and there's Processio and there's all these others, if you create the same automation, user interface is totally different. So when you move from one to the other, it's a whole new learning curve, and it's not right or wrong. It's just different. So it's trying to slow down, or sorry, speed up the process of that learning curve that I'm after. But yeah, thank you for answering the questions anyway.
Thank you very much. Okay, yeah, so yeah, Wendy, let's take one last question. And then, yeah, so the questions that remained unanswered, yeah, so what can we do with them? Can we just, direct people to our community and answer the remaining questions there? So what would be the best way forward?
yeah, exactly. I will post the video there soon. And if you have additional questions, or if it doesn't answer your question yet, you can share at this thread at our Facebook community. I would just answer the last question and then told you about the new webinars I promised you. We received a question asking for WordPress integration. Maybe it's regarding the plugins or new events for WordPress. We are working on both of them. We already have WordPress in our library, and we are working with some actions and also with the integration of some plugins. You can follow the tasks on our roadmap. I shared the link with you at the beginning. And if you have other suggestions, feel free to add it there and share your use cases with us, and then we can try to improve the integration. So that's it. Now, as promised, I will announce in the first hand 2 new Albato webinars that will take place in the coming weeks. The first one is the embedded webinar. So save this date. It will take place on July 7 at 10 a.m. Central Time. And in this event, we will address the top 3 challenges that SaaS companies face with integrations, how SaaS can accelerate their time to marketing of integrations in 3 times, and how to boost customer retention by 7% with an integration platform. And also a GA4 webinar, because Universal Analytics will stop collecting the data from July 1st, and we'll be holding this webinar in 2 weeks to help you get up and running with this new system. In this event, we'll talk about the difference between Universal Analytics and GA4, how quickly you can migrate your data from Universal Analytics to GA4, and how you can configure events in GA4, and how to send events and conversions on completed deals from your CRM to GA4 using Albato. Before this webinar, you can follow some useful materials on this topic to get prepared. And we even create a video that can help you. I will share the link here in the chat here. So you can also subscribe to our YouTube channel to watch more videos like this one. And you can also share your doubts there. Our team will answer you. And of course, don't forget to join our community on Facebook to keep up with all the news. Soon we will post more details about both webinars there. And we will also share the registration form so you can save the date in your agenda and not miss it at all. That's basically it. I hope you're enjoying it this moment. And again, if you have any questions, we are at your disposal to answer in our community or on our chat of the support. So that's it. One more time, thank you all.
Thank you very much, Wendy, and thank you, Albato team, for this amazing session. So I know that you gave your all to make it, to make it really helpful for our audience. And thank you very much, everyone, for using Albato and for your trust in our product and for being with us today. So really happy to have you here. And thank you very much for your questions and your comments. I think it's been a very, lively and insightful conversation. So, and yeah, follow us in our communities, in our YouTube channel, in Facebook. Stay tuned. And as Wendy announced, so we're going to have a couple of other cool webinars. And please feel free to join. Yeah, see you there. Thank you and have a great day.
Thank you guys. Bye-bye. See you.
Goodbye.
Have a good day. Bye-bye, everyone. Thank you. Bye-bye.